Welcome to Moments with Marianne. This is your host, Marianne Pastana, and I am so excited to be celebrating 10 years of meaningful conversations with you. As we step into our new primetime hour, it's such an honor to share this exciting new chapter with you. So whether you're starting your day out, headed to work, or listening from wherever you are, this hour is designed to bring you thoughtful dialogue, fresh insight, and inspiring stories so you can make every moment count. So thank you for being here with me today, and let's dive in. We're here today with special guests Jenny Garufi and Jim Kupczyk, and they're here to share with us Sahu Oils. What if an ancient Egyptian oil can help unlock your intuition and reconnect you with your soul's purpose? Well, today's guests are here to share with us just that. Jenny Garufi is an international best-selling author and spiritual teacher with over 20 years of experience helping people access divine guidance, heal ancestral wounds, and remember their soul's purpose. She teaches people how to tap into their intuition, unlock their gifts, and reclaim their inner power by giving them accessible, easy-to-use tools that fit into their daily lives. Jenny's the creator of the Instant Alignment, 1-Minute Magic Meditation podcast, and the author of multiple books, including the 3-Minute Shower Reset. Her latest collaboration, Akasha with Sahu Sacred Oils, makes Akashic Records accessible to everyone. Jim Kupczyk is a founder of Sahu Sacred Oils, a Buffalo, New York-based company offering rare, cold-pressed Egyptian oil essences crafted using ancient methods. After a life-changing journey to Egypt, Jim formed a direct relationship with a multi-generational family of artisans outside Luxor, bringing their sacred oil traditions to the modern world. With over 20 years of experience in energy work, his mission is to help individuals reconnect with their true nature and elevate global consciousness through Egyptian plant-based alchemy. So welcome to the show, Jenny Garufi and Jim Kupczyk.
Thanks for having us.
So Jenny, for listeners who might not be familiar with the Akashic Records, can you explain what they are in a way that feels accessible for everybody?
Sure. I like to think of them as a huge database of everything in existence. So all our lives that our soul has incarnated as, every property, the energy signature throughout time. So it's basically like a huge database where you can get kind of any information and gain guidance too.
So is that information in the past, in the future? What type of information?
It's all the information in the past. The future is still being determined. So while you can get maybe a percentage for the future and guidance for the future, there is free will and there's the butterfly effect. So the future isn't 100% in the records, but you can definitely get truth about the past and about what is going on now, as well as when you're in the Akashic Records, that energy, you feel like you're in the energy of unconditional love.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a minute, because this energy of unconditional love, can you share what that actually feels like?
It feels like the biggest hug you've ever gotten from someone you love. It feels like non-judgmental love. Hopefully, most people have had that in their life. Sometimes it's with a pet that you get that like excited to see you when you get home energy. Just that energy of pure gratitude and love for you just even existing. There's no judgment. It's just pure love and joy.
Okay, so let's dive into this collaboration with Jim and Sahu Sacred Oils. How did that come about?
Well, Jim and I had been business partners on another project, and when he started working with Sahu Oils, I was blown away. We met in person. We live, a few hours apart, met in person, and I got to smell the oils, and they were like no other oil I had ever smelled. And the story, which I'll tell you later, is pretty amazing about the oils and their origin. And I've seen the testimonials he's gotten from the oils creating that connection. And it just kind of made sense that we would create something that makes it even easier to gain access to the records, that really heightens your vibration and makes it a little easier to slip in and to know that you're gaining that information.
So, what was the moment you knew you had to create this together?
I think just seeing Sahu do more and more amazing things and learning more about the oils just made it a natural collaboration, really. Just that power of my 20 years of experience within the records and then the power of these oils just like seemed like a sacred connection.
So, Jim, let's talk about you for a moment. Can you take us back to that moment this journey began for you and how you first discovered these sacred oils and connect with the family in Egypt?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me and Jenny on your show. I really appreciate the space you're creating. For me, this wasn't really something I was looking for. I believe it found me and it really redirected my life. It started off in 2022 and I had the opportunity to go to Egypt, and a good friend of mine asked me to pick up her some lavender oil. And even though I was a proponent of aromatherapy and I knew about oils, I never really procured them. And I remember spending about an hour next to the pyramids talking to somebody, and I ended up buying a fragrance and not an oil. And I think it was really some serendipity because the I get home, I present it to my friend. She politely told me that I messed up. Epic fail on my part. But it just so happened that the person that was driving me around for a couple of hours, who wasn't even really a tour guide, he was just a friend of a friend, happened to work at this distillery that's in the middle of nowhere, about 2 hours outside of Luxor. And he ended up sending me these oils, and they really blew away some of my aromatherapy friends. And at the time, I didn't get a chance to meet the family, but this past winter in December, I had the opportunity to go and press some oil.
Wow, what an amazing experience that must have been. So, Jenny, let's talk about Akasha. It isn't just an oil, it's a complete system. Can you walk us through everything someone receives?
Absolutely. Firstly, you do receive this sacred oil that can be used not just for the Akashic records, but also to deepen meditation and to clear your property. You receive my 46-page e-guidebook based on 20 years of my experience in the Akashic records. You receive three guided audios. One is a pendulum attunement because pendulums are handy to use in the Akashic records, and two are entries into the records. One's a little longer and you can actually use it for your whole journey there. And then you receive Q&A calls with me. Every other week, I'm offering a half an hour Q&A call, and you can send me as many emails and as many questions as you like. I'm really here to help support people gain that access and gain confidence in it.
So, Jim, let's talk about the difference between sacred oils versus essential oils. You make a very clear distinction between the two. What's the difference?
Sure. I think essential oils really extract a part of the plant, and sacred oils preserve the whole relationship with the plant. I think the main three differences involved the process, intention, and the uses. I won't get into like detail with each one, but this process, the process for essential oils is typically 80-20 rule is typically like steam distillation, where they distill and segregate the terpenes or the strong smelling parts of the plants. Essential oils are usually the intention actually is mainly because it's high volume is mainly profit, and the uses include aromatherapy, household uses, perfumery. I want to say that it's really even like I don't know. I don't want to paint a bad picture, but it's almost like soulless uses, whereby whereas like sacred oils, the process is typically either like a maceration type process where plant parts are soaked in oils, or it's, in this case, it's cold press. These oils are actually pressed. I didn't really get into it with the origin story, but these oils, this family in the middle of nowhere, Luxor, they use a 2,000-pound granite wheel powered by an oxen to cold press these oils. And they use a lot of intention because I want to say mainly because I haven't really asked them, because they're Muslim. And in the Muslim religion, they pray before every step in the process of these oils, whether it's before they're picking the plants on their farms, or it's pressing the oils with the giant wheel, or then the final stage, which is like the original cold press, where it's like this big vise that cold presses these oils. Cold press oils, or these sacred oils, the uses are a little different too. They're like, mainly like ritual, meditation. It preserves the full spectrum of the plant. So it's just, I like to say that it's like that sacred oils are essential oils, like with a soul. That's the main kind of difference that I like to say.
Oh, that's just remarkable. And my goodness, I mean, Jenny, for 20 years, you've been facilitating Akashic readings for people. What made you decide it was time to teach people to access the records themselves?
Well, there's a few reasons. One is in this time, a lot of people are facing a lot of challenges, and the key energy that you feel in the Akashic Records is unconditional love, which we can all use some more of: love, healing. And the second was access to truth. In the age of AI, we usually do not know what truth is, and it can really help you get in touch with your intuition deeper and be able to discern truth. And then the third is guidance, to know we're not alone. There's so much separation right now in the world. To be able to access this energy and feel that connection and oneness, and be able to seek answers from your higher self and from, your spirit guides, and to really feel that connection is just really priceless.
For those folks that are thinking, okay, this sounds great. I'd love to do it, but I'm not intuitive enough. I have no intuitive ability. What would you say to them?
We all have intuitive ability. It's like a muscle that needs to be worked. In the guidebook, we have different clair abilities. So we can be clairvoyant and see things, clairaudient and hear things, claircognizant and know things, clairsentient and feel things. You can walk into a room and know people are happy or unhappy. You can think of someone and the phone rings and it's them. We've all had these little moments, but we're usually so distracted that, our intuition gets kind of dulled. So through the guidebook, through the oils, through the meditations, it really is just a kind of step-by-step learning process and a muscle that you're working to know you are intuitive. Also, using the pendulum helps too. It's like a little, check to make sure you're receiving truth. So yeah, we all have these abilities. It's just owning them and tapping into them more often.
That's such an important piece. How do you personally use the records in your daily life?
I use them a few different ways. I use them if I'm feeling really blah. It's a good place to go to just feel that energy of love. I know when I started using the records, I had a hard time coming out because I was like, whoa, that just feels so nice to feel that love energy. I use it for if I'm kind of confused about something, to gain clarity on business decisions or personal. We used it actually to gain the recipe for Akasha, to make sure that we were using the highest quality oils for this product. So yeah, I use it often, and I use it also for house clearings and for a bunch of different things. It's amazing when you start using it, you're just going to find more and more uses for it.
So, can you share with us? I mean, when you went to the Akashic Records, were you able to find the quote like recipe for this. How did that help?
Yeah, because Jim has there are so many beautiful oils within Sahu. So to be able to say, okay, well, what will allow for intuition opening and what will allow for grounding? What are the most important oils that really will help people guide them to the records and make them feel supported while they're there?
Think that's such a big piece. Now, earlier you mentioned that you're using these oils for many different purposes. So are you using it for like big spiritual questions or everyday things too?
Absolutely. I use the Akashic Records for everything, and I have a little collection of Sahu oils too, and they just never cease to amaze me. There's one that brings me a lot of calmness, and the Akasha oil just really deepens my meditation and allows me to feel more confident in the records. I get answers sometimes quicker than I can, like if I'm typing them up quicker than I can type them. So it's allowed for like quicker access for me.
So, Jim, what makes these oils so rare and different? I mean, there's so many oils on the market today. What makes these Egyptian sacred oils so rare?
I think what makes them rare isn't just the ingredients, it's more the lineage, the process, and the fact that it hasn't been modernized. This family is really isolated. They're in the middle of nowhere, 2 hours outside of Luxor. There's no really reason to even go visit. They're not like a typical perfumery in the heart of Cairo, where they give you like a dog and pony show, and then they try to get you to, like purchase the oils. This family, honestly, they don't speak English. They don't have a website. They don't have social media. They're in this village that they're almost like embarrassed at the poverty level. They don't do tours. You wouldn't go to this village because there's no temples or there's just nothing. There's no reason to go there. So their isolationism, actually, just the fact that they've been doing it for 7 generations on record, probably more like 2,000 years based on their equipment, that makes them just so different to begin with. Just their process in terms of the sacred oils. Not too many people have heard of sacred oils to begin with, and the ones that are used to oils that have gone through a maceration process, which is really like a plant being soaked in a carrier oil. I think just the fact that you can't find like a cold pressed sandalwood, cedar wood, cold pressed, many of these oils you just can't find anywhere to begin with, along with the intention. And in addition, I want to say that like a pretty big differentiator that makes these oils different is the fact that after they're picked up and they go on a really extensive journey from, that starts actually in the Giza area, and then they make their way back to Giza after a 9-hour bus ride and a 1-hour tuk-tuk. The fact that my main contact, who's a dear friend now, takes the oils and works with a friend of his, and his friend climbs the Great Pyramid of Giza, and they spend a little time in the sarcophagus with an incarnation that I gave them. You just don't see that at all. Just the love, the intention, the process, the lineage. It's just you just don't see it anywhere. And I think that really translates into the oils.
So why do people describe them as feeling completely different?
I want to say, I like to compare it. I just gave a lecture actually in Asheville, and it's almost, because I'm half Italian, I like to compare it like with ragu sauce and grana Nunziato sauce. You've got a ragu sauce or a prego, nothing wrong with them at all, but they're highly mass produced. The intention is really money, and shareholders' wealth, I guess. And it's a decent product, and it has its use. But like you go to your Italian grandmothers, and the love and intention that she puts into that sauce, you can really just tell. I mean, these oils, um, there's as far as I know, there's no equipment or machinery that touches this oils. They're made by hand. They're sent to me. I bottle them by hand. And my brother's helping me right now, which is a huge help as we expand and get bigger. But like everything is just like the love and intention that they put into making the oils, and then even just the packing and the labeling, and just working with people like Jenny to create these amazing like collaborations and co-creations. I think people just feel it. And I think we just got over 400. We've been online for under 2 years, and we just received our 400th review, which is amazing in itself. I think just the customers, who are mainly, oftentimes they're light workers, so they're doing good, and we're creating a ripple effect with this oil. They just feel it. Maybe because they're a little more aware. I'm not really sure.
Just profound how that all comes together. Now, Jenny, I mean, we're living in times of AI, misinformation, and I can't even believe I'm having to say this, but so true, like constant noise. Why does direct access to divine guidance, especially right now?
Yeah, to be able to just turn it all off and to access a place where you're not only receiving unconditional love and that feeling of oneness, but you really do feel like you have a support team there. On my guided journey, I introduce you to your team of angels and supporters, and you really feel that unconditional love. So to be able to feel that, to be able to ask, people, these beings of high vibration, and also your higher self, to be able to tap into that without the noise, without the judgment, just really feel this new level of love for yourself, and to ask questions, and to have maybe your pendulum as a backup, or to just receive this deep knowing. The answers are given a little different than we receive those messages from ourselves. They're given in pure love. There's never any negativity. You're really just receiving this like huge hug and divine truth. And during this time where, you don't even know if a picture you're looking at is real or not, it's just really helpful to develop these senses of intuition, however that looks for you, so you know what is truth when you're looking at something or reading something.
Yeah, that's such a big deal. So, why does direct access to divine guidance, especially now, feel important?
Yeah, again, that like trust that everything's going to be okay, even that hug from the universe of unconditional love, that being able to ask a question, if you're a little confused about, which way is really aligned with my highest good right now. Maybe I have a couple of options, or maybe I'm a little confused about this person's intentions, or if this website is reliable, like, to be able to go and get truth is really priceless and is so needed right now.
Oh boy, is it. Oh boy, is it. So, Jim, at the heart of all of this, what is your mission with Sahu Oils?
For me, it seems like, I hate to be, vanilla, but everybody wants to make the world a better place. And for me, like raising global consciousness really starts one person at a time. And I think that one of my main missions, in addition to obviously making the world better, is I believe these oils help you discover who you are, why you're here. And I think they make you the best version of yourself, your fully realized self. Those are kind of like mini missions for me, is for people to just really figure out who they are and why they're here.
And so for Jenny, for like looking at this mission from an energetic level, what do you see?
Yeah, I see how Jim's oils are so important. And I also see how this collaboration of Akasha is so important, because for us to be able to tap into love instead of fear, for us to be able to tap into truth instead of confusion, for us to be able to tap into guidance. And more importantly, that oneness and connection and knowing we're supported and having this love for other people. And I love that the records can kind of give us a deeper understanding of other people too, and maybe a little more kindness in that awareness. And yeah, if this has a ripple effect, like how powerful is that? Unconditional love and truth and guidance. It would just make the world a much happier place.
So, what is your dream, Jenny, for Akasha? I mean, if it reached thousands of people and they started accessing their own records, what kind of impact would that create?
Oh, I want to shout, Marianne. It's so exciting. I would love that because people would recognize their divine gifts. You can go in there and ask, what is my primary life lesson? What are my soul gifts? And tap into that for people to be, like Jim said, fully actualized and really understand themselves at that deeper level. Like when we're tapped into our gifts and know who we are and have that self-love and have that even reflecting to us with that unconditional love, like we're unstoppable. And to have a bunch of people doing that, like living from their heart, not the shoulds, not what should I do, but what am I lit up to do? What am I here to do? And to be able to put that energy in the world, I do think that's priceless, and that's going to have a huge ripple effect.
We can definitely use more people enlightened, especially now. My goodness.
Absolutely.
So, how can people get Akasha and what support do they receive after they place that order?
They can go to the sahuoils.com and look for Akasha there, and they will immediately receive my ebook, which is 46 pages, and the 3 guided meditations and the schedule for the calls. And they can start reading the ebook while they're waiting for their oil to arrive in the mail, because then they'll be ready. When the oil comes, they'll be ready to dive right in.
And what does the ebook cover?
It covers what being in the records is like, the doubts that come up, the different intuitive gifts that you can have and tap into, some of the questions you can ask, as well as just some of the frequently asked questions that when you go into the records you're wondering about.
That is just so impactful. And Jim, where can people go for learning more information about Sahu oils?
I would say that the best place would be sahuoils.com, the website. And we do have a AI generated chatbot that can answer a bunch of questions along with, our about section and just our FAQs. So I think this is a pretty good balance actually between, asking the records. The records are almost like the same thing as AI. I think if you ask the record something and you get more comfortable and then you go to AI, I think you're just going to it's almost going to be like a revolving door and you're going to find your answers through yourself. And one thing I know we covered a bunch, but just from even my perspective in this wonderful collaboration, I think that for those that don't have the time to actually even go through this whole process, they can even just start by maybe thumbing through the book really quick and then maybe dabbing a little bit of the oil on their third eye before bed, because like Jenny alluded to, the oils can help with other things as well. And I noticed that just experimenting with the oil, I just had vivid dreams and different things happened. So I don't want to belabor everything, and I know we talked about a bunch, but I just wanted to kind of emphasize that point as well.
Oh, that's a very important piece. And, people all enter where they're supposed to. So to be able to do it at that point, that's pretty amazing.
Exactly.
Well, Jenny and Jim, thank you both so much for taking the time to be on the show with us here today.
Thanks so much, Marianne. So grateful.
Thank you. Thank you, Marianne.
Well, thank you, Jenny and Jim. It's been such an honor to spend this time with you and to talk about Sahu sacred oils. Make sure to visit the website at sahuoils.com, and that's spelled SAHU oils.com, for more information on their work and also to pick up your own Akasha Sacred Oil. Well, we're at the end of our time today. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. You're listening to Moments with Marianne, where we make every moment count.
In a single moment, your life can change. Moments with Marianne is a transformative hour that covers an endless array of topics with the best of the best. Her guests are leaders in their fields, ranging from inspirational authors, top industry leaders, and business and spiritual entrepreneurs. Each guest is gifted and a true visionary, a recognized leader in her own work, and while teaching others to develop, refocus, and grow, Marianne will bring the best guest and sometimes a special surprise. Don't miss this. You never know just which moment will change your life forever. Make sure to tune in and visit momentswithmarianne.com for more information.